of diversity, what have you got? You've got a career politician, white male, that's falling apart before your very eyes. It's telling you that it's bullshit. Yes. And that they'll put people in positions in order to carry that narrative, but for no other reason, because I don't truly believe that they deeply care about those ideas. And even if they do deeply care, the decisions they're making are decisions that are in alignment with centralized banking authority. It's not going to change the world for any of them. They've managed to make ordinary American people hate one another, like on the basis of a 50-50 split. You can't criminalize half of a country and say that they're far-right fascists any more than you can say that, in my view, extreme leftists.
They've got us in these ideological camps, and they've got people infighting and ignoring real problems. It's such a transparent hustle. It's so obvious to see how it's being set up and how easy it is to get people to fall in line with it.
Rogan, Russell Brand.
Yep.
Great combo.
Great combo. Very interesting. And
great thinkers of our time. Great philosophers, you know.
Have you guys watched Westworld? Have you ever seen Westworld?
I saw the first season.
So the first season, the reveal when he's a robot and he finally sees the door and he says, "What door?" And then he points out the door and then he sees the door. That is what I feel like with a lot of these folks, where you try to talk to them, you try to speak with them, you try to show them, and they just don't see it until they see it.
You talking about like the sheeple?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And worse than that, when you try to show them, they don't get mad at the people lying. They get mad at you for exposing the lie. It's been a remarkable 4 years.
It's like, don't make it uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I want to just believe what I see and that be it.
People I love. People that, and I'm not even talking about people I'm ideologically opposed to. People I love.
Of course.
Who they don't want to see. They don't want to see. You finally are like, dude, you have to see. You have to see it. Sit down. Watch it. And then
you're making them aware of a prison above them.
And then when they see it, they just never want to talk to you about it ever again. Or it happens that way.
It's more comfortable the other way.
Yeah, is that what you think it is?
Yeah, 100%.
Have you encountered this?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. Totally. Haven't you?
Oh yeah. Well, I now I see it goes two ways. Then there's also people that I've knew that were very, very far left that almost feel so betrayed, especially after what happened with Gaza and Black Lives Matter and everything like that, that now they've kind of gone so far to the other side, and they're DMing me constantly. I'm like, did you know this? Did you know this?
That's so...
like, yeah, I kind of did, bro. Yeah, I've been trying. Yeah.
That's so weird, though, because the ties between pro-Palestine and even Hamas supporters and BLM go back to almost the origin of BLM.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
BLM is just a Marxist front. It's just a Marxist action group. It all goes back to communism. It really does. I don't want to be reductionist. It's not like the Red Scare. This isn't the 80s. This is the truth. It all goes back to that. It really does. It's where the money comes from. It's where the organization comes from. These are all trained Marxists, and this is all an action front. That's just the truth of it. That's not even a controversial statement for me to say that, and it's really not even a theory. All you have to do is just track it back.
Yeah, I've had multiple black friends be like, "Yeah, fuck BLM. All lives matter." Even which became a
dog whistle.
Yeah, it became like a button issue where it was like, "Ooh, don't say that."
Mm-hmm.
Black Lives Matter got real corny towards the end. It was like all white, and you started seeing black guys starting to get away from it. They're like, "This shit's corny as hell." When you're in Dallas and all those crazy moms were like, bullying the shit out of people just trying to have like a burger on the street over there. And it was that whole mob with their fists up because these one people wouldn't march with them. And it was just like, there's not a black face in the crowd. It's like, okay, this is an action front. This is the PLO. This is American Hamas. This is what it is. And you try showing people, and they think you're the bigot. They think you're the racist because you don't go on board with this stuff. And then you show them. But what's weird now, I don't know if you've seen, BLM leaders are supporting Trump. And now Donald Trump is not tweeting. What is he on? Truthing? He's putting out support for Donald Trump is putting out support for BLM. I don't know if you can pull that up, Delco. I don't know if they've seen that.
I haven't seen that.
Have you seen that? It's bizarro world. No. Aliens are the least weird thing happening these days.
Do you have a True Social account? I don't.
No, I don't.
I don't think anybody does. You could probably pull it up just by Googling. Is that the overwhelming? Is it just like overwhelming? Is that why people are just like, nope, it's overwhelming?
I think so. I think it's like, yeah, hear no evil, see no evil, keep my head in the sand, and, you know, I'm going to live my life, do, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there was, in your old industry, there was a girl who was literally bullied to death because she didn't want to do
crossover shoots or trans shoots.
Yeah. I mean, that, and
what does crossover mean?
Working with a gay performer.
Okay.
The testing's different.
Who's
her name? Her stage name was August Ames. Her real name was Mercedes. So back when this all happened, it kind of was like the start of me getting like ostracized from even like the most ostracized group, which is sex workers. But I got really vocal, me and Keisha Gray, and there was like a couple other people that were on the right side of this argument and defending her right to say who she sleeps with. And everyone was like, well, how dare you, you're a bigot because you're not going to sleep with a crossover performer, you're not going to sleep with a trans performer. The testing for gay porn has always been different. So you can be HIV positive and shoot for gay content. There are companies that will allow it. I think that you have to either be on PrEP or wear a condom. There's something, but you are allowed to be positive. In hetero porn, you cannot be. There's no exceptions. If you're positive, you cannot shoot. You're done. So because of that, when you shoot with someone who does crossover, and this is a lot of the trans performers too, your risk goes up. Right. And even when it comes, and this is going to be like, you cannot say this, right? Like you cannot say this, even though it is true. There are certain communities that are at higher risk of getting HIV or AIDS. And that is the gay community. That is one of the groups that is at a higher risk.
Yeah, the group that does bug chasing parties.
And I just don't know why.
Is that why it is?
Well, anal sex is really rough, right? And you get lesions, like you get tears, and then you have blood contact on both people. So it transfers a lot easier. So it's not like bigoted, it's not homophobic, it's not any of that thing.
Who gives a shit if it is? The whole industry just screams at everybody all the time and says, my body, my choice about everything.
And then they dogpiled on her, and everyone knew she was very sensitive. She was very open about having mental health issues. No one gave a shit. They did not stop going after her. And like big names were sending like their army after her and not doing anything about it. And then she ended up killing herself because of it, which is so tragic.
Which again goes back to
something. And then no one even apologized. These people still hosted the awards show and we're like, oh, well, this is tragic. No, like you're monster. You're a monster, and you bullied someone to like a tragic death because you want to be PC. Yeah, because you want to get virtue points. It's disgusting.
Well, did they want to be PC, or does this go back to what we talked about a couple episodes ago, where it was just in vogue, it was just fashion, and they want to feel powerful? They want to have power. Power's
probably part of it too. Yeah, some of the performers were older, right? And she was like a beautiful, younger, very popular performer, so it was probably bullying for that, like insecurity. You know what I mean? Like lashing out on the young, pretty thing. Yeah, it's disgusting.
They were going to bring her to heel. They were going to bring her to heel. You were going to obey.
It's inexcusable.
Yeah, and I mean that's a dark, dark, dark path. And for them, and nobody was ever held accountable.
No, and I mean, that's where it gets tricky with bullying and everything that's online, because there's people that champion free speech and say that they're free speech absolutists. So where do you draw the line? Like, where does it become harassment? Where does it become inciting violence? Who draws that boundary?
The power dynamics have shifted too far. That one side has way too much power in the culture. They just hold way, way, way too much power. They can gatekeep because there are no other viable options.
Well, I don't think it needs to be a government issue, right? Like, that's rarely the answer. It's just like, do the fucking right thing. Be a good person.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to regulate it. You don't have to pass it into law. Just like be a good person and hold other people to a high standard. So when you see someone bullying someone, especially if you know that person is fragile, right? Fucking say something. Say something.
Yeah. Well, I guess, there's no real way to transition out of it. It's a tragic situation that happened, and fucking it goes back to what we started this thing with. The people just we haven't learned. Nobody's learned. Nothing's going to change because nobody's learned. The only thing that's changing is now people are starting to bully the bullies. People are starting to be like, no. And this is the appeal of Trump. The whole appeal of Trump, for all of his warts, for all of his problems, is that he never let those bullies win. He never gave him an inch, and he always attacked back. And that, for people that had been attacked for so long, that's cathartic. And then what he just said about Mark Fisher, just to bring this thing full circle, Mark Fisher did a podcast, and he was talking about how he's off Biden. He did nothing. That Biden and Kamala Harris have been such a huge disappointment for the black community, and he's voting for Donald Trump. And this came a day after Michael Rappaport said voting for Donald Trump is on the table. So this is unraveling.
Rappaport came around.
Rappaport, and so this is unravel. Well, look, if the black guys, Rappaport just does what the black people tell him to do. So I mean, if the black people are starting to jump ship, the Democrats are in big trouble.
If it comes down to pig dick Donald Trump and smoking Joe Biden, I'm sorry. I am sorry. Voting for pig dick Donald Trump is on the table. I'm sorry.
Can we address the funniest thing about this Truth Social, whatever they call tweet?
Spoke with Mark Fisher yesterday. A great guy. Very honored to have his and BLM support. I've done more for black people than had the other president. Lincoln, maybe. Including 10-year funding for historically black colleges and universities where they had none. Opportunity zones, criminal justice reform, and much, much more. Thank you to Mark.
Your Trump has gotten way better, bro. Your Trump game has been
the best roof. President for black people. Better than Lincoln.
He actually kind of is, right? I mean, the work that he did with prison reform is kind of second to none.
That was with Kim Kardashian,
yeah.
Right.
Of all people. She's got to keep the dating pool a little live for her,
I think Grant has an argument.
You think Grant has an argument?
Yeah, I think
the
Grant
reconstruction.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think the whole hey, you can't kill them all. Stop it. Stop it. The war's over. Stop it. That's
Also
pretty
had a
much
bunch of black people in his cabinet and everything.
That's pretty much the Grant presidency right there. Teddy Roosevelt had a black guy in the office. Hilarious that Woodrow Wilson is a progressive hero. Started the League of Nations, the original World Economic Forum, the UN. Pretty much, ruined America with the Federal Reserve. Got us into World War I. Worst president ever from Jersey. Ridiculous racist. Most racist person. Scratch a racist, find a Democrat. 100 times out of 100. 100 times.